4961. So, no problem. We don't need to get the difference of this number from 0.5 kasi nga ang pinanggalingan naman nila is parehong 0 and ang kinukuha naman natin is yung difference nila. Yung area nila, no, between 115 to 129, wherein yung 120 or equivalent din sa 0 is nasa gitna nila. So, no need to minus sa 0.5. I-add na lang natin, no? So, let's add these two numbers. This will be equals to 0.9267 or 92.67%, meaning to say 92.67% ito. Therefore, no, madaling salita, yung problem natin, the probability of obtaining a sample mean between 115 hanggang 129 months, no, is 92.67%. Okay, good day everyone. Welcome to our next topic. So, for this presentation, what we will going to discuss is all about the normal distribution. Okay, as you still remember, based on our previous discussion, we actually have two types of probability distribution. The first one is the discrete probability distribution, wherein the distributions under that type is actually the binomial and the Poisson probability distribution. So, for this presentation of ours, we will be talking all about the continuous probability distribution, specifically the normal distribution. So, by definition, normal distribution is also known as the Gaussian distribution. It is a continuous probability distribution that describes data clusters around the mean. Meaning to say, by just looking on the distribution of this normal distribution, we can describe or we can have some insights regarding our data that surrounds the mean. Now, especially those data clusters around the mean. Now, here is actually a histogram of where the normal distribution came from. So basically, this is the basis of a normal distribution curve and the properties of the normal distribution curve. Later on, I will show you the line normal distribution curve, not the histogram type. So, for the properties, huwag niyong kakalimutan ito. For the first property, it is actually bell-shaped. No, that's why other term niya aside sa Gaussian distribution is the bell-shaped distribution or the bell distribution or the bell curve distribution. So it is all just the same. For the second one, we have here the second property. It says here that the mean, the median, and the mode should all be equal and are located at the center of the distribution. So meaning to say, if we're going to come back on our histogram here, this highest bar at the center of the graph is actually the mean and also the value of the median, and also this is also the value of their mode. I hope you get it. So let's proceed with the third property. For the third property, it is unimodal. Since our mode is the highest value of our distribution, therefore meaning to say it is a unimodal. If it happens that the mode is a bimodal or multimodal type of mode, it will not be considered anymore as a normal distribution. No, I hope that's clear. And for the fourth one, the normal distribution curve is symmetric about the mean. Meaning to say symmetric, the shape or both the same on the right side and of course on the left side of the distribution. Symmetric. Next, the normal distribution is continuous, meaning to say infinite, no, walang katapusan. And lastly, it is asymptotic. It never touches x-axis. It will never ever have a value of exact 0. It can have a value of 0.01, 0.001, 0.0001 or 0.00001 and so on, but it will never ever touches exactly value of 0. No, I hope that's clear. For the seventh property of normal distribution, the total area under the normal distribution curve is 1 or 100. Or, correct this slide, no, approximately 1 or 100. Not exact 1 or 100, approximately. When we say approximately 1 or 100, 99 point something, no, because of the sixth property, which is that is asymptotic, it will never touch 0, so meaning to say it will never cover 100% of the probability. And the fifth property, which is saying there that the normal distribution is actually a continuous one. Now, for the last distribution, this is actually the empirical rule. That's why we have discussed this before. No, so meaning to say the empirical rule is the eighth property of a normal distribution curve, wherein the area under the part of a normal curve that lies within one standard deviation from the mean is 68%, meaning to say one standard deviation from the mean going to the right and going to the left, the total percentage or the total portion covered from that movement of standard deviation 1 from the mean going to the right and going to the left is 68%. Within 2 standard deviation is 95%, and with 3 standard deviation about 99.7%. This is the reason why we have still some defects on 6 sigma. If you can recall, no, we have 3.4 something defect per million opportunities, DPMO. That's the relationship. Now, this is actually the normal distribution curve. So the basis of this curve is from the histogram, stating that every data in this world, every data around us is generally accepted that they are having a pattern which is surrounded by the normal distribution, or rather which is represented by a normal distribution. So, a normal distribution can be converted into a standard normal distribution by obtaining the z-value. So, huwag kayong malilito, no? When we say z-value na, kapag z-value na yung pinag-uusapan, then yung gitna nila is 0 na, a normal distribution is now called as the standard normal distribution. Now, a z-value is the signed distance between selected value, designated x, and the mean, divided by the standard deviation, or also called the z-scores. Sometimes other professors or other books call this as z-stat or z-statistics. It is just the same. So the standard normal deviates or the standard normal values. So it is all the same. Z-score, z-value, z-stat, z-statistics, z-corresponds. No, it is all the same. Standard normal deviates or standard normal values. No, pare-pareho lang yan. For the formula of our standard normal distribution, it is actually z equals x minus mu all over standard deviation. So, x is the designated value or the selected value that we should get, the distance from the mean, minus mu, which is the average. I hope you're aware with this, no? And of course, the standard deviation. Okay, we have here the standard normal table. You can have a screenshot of this and print, or if you want, no, you can have the link or rather the picture. Just search on Google standard normal table. It will show us. It will show you the HD version. Then you can print this if you want. So as you can see here, it starts with the value 0 on the upper left part. Ayan, I'll just on my pen. Okay, on the upper left part, we have here the 0 value. So some table starts on this area, no? But some table like this one starts with the 0 value. So meaning to say, from 0 going to 0.09, that is 0.0359, no? So around this point, that is 3.59%, no, from the mean or from the 0. So as you can see, so 3.4 or 3.9, we have here this value. I hope you see this 0.49. the doc is showing up 0.4998 or near 0.5. This is the reason kung bakit hindi siya exact na 0.5 is that if you can still recall on the properties of the normal distribution curve, it is continuous, it is asymptotic, so that's the reason kung bakit di siya nag-exact 0.5. Kasi kung titingnan mo, 0.0002 na lang, 0.5 na exacto. Pero hindi. So, ayun, I hope nakuha ninyo. If you're going to have the value of the whole curve, you just multiply this whole table into 2, for the left side of the graph. Okay, so let's have some basic example, short example. So determine the area under the standard normal distribution curve between z equals 0 and z equals 1.85. So basically, what the instruction is saying us is to determine the probability of the area from 0 na z value natin, z, ayan, yung area ng z natin, yung pinagmulan is 0 and going to 1.85. Again, when we say standard normal distribution curve, the center is the mean, the median, and the mode, which is equivalent to 0. Therefore, ito yon, yung pinakagitna. Okay, so this is 0. So what we're going to do is to find the area under this curve from 0 to 1.85. So assuming we have here 1, we have here 2, we have here 3, 1.85, let's make some tangiometer. Ito, assuming this is the 1.85 part. Etong area na to, yung kailangan nating hanapin. Gaano kalaki yung area na to, or ilang percent siya ng total standard normal distribution curve. So, more likely, this is less than 50, or less than 49%. Since the whole distribution is around 100 and we're just having the shaded part on the right side of the curve. So, paano natin siya makukuha? Basically, madali lang naman siya makuha, From the 0, check mo lang yung value ng 1.85 from the table. So, let's go back to our table. Where's 1.85? We have here 1.8. Then, check on the horizontal part, which is the 5. Where is the 5? 0.05 here. Then, 1.85. So, basically, this is the value that we are looking for. Ayan. So, 0.4678. So, 0.4678. Or, simply, we can write this one as 46.78%. So, that's it. Ganun lang kadali. Napaka-simple. 46.78%. Okay, next example. Find the area under the standard normal distribution curve to the right of 7. To the right of 7 tuloy. To the right of z equals 1.15. Okay, so tulad nung kanina, let's have the center as 0. So, we have 1 here, we have 2 here, we have 3 here. On 1.15 ang hinahanap natin, So, tansya ulit. Kunyari, ito yung 1.15. 1.15. Ito naman, to the right, So, nandito. Ang kanan natin. Papunta dito, going right. So, meaning to say, ito yung hinahanap natin na area. The question is, gaano naman kalaki ito, Or ilang percent yung area na to. Tulad kanina, madali lang siya. Titignan lang natin sa ating table. So, let's have here 1.15. Okay, so 1.15, 1.1, then let's check the 0.05 here. So, 1.1 plus 0.05 is 1.15. Therefore, this is the value that we are looking for. 0.3749. Okay. And that is actually, I forgot to write the equation. This is 0 less than z less than 1.15. Again, that is 0.3749, or in percentage, we can easily say that this is equivalent to 37.49%. Yeah, right. That's it. No, so going to the right. I hope you get it. Madali lang siya. We have actually a shortcut sa calculator nito. Just set your calculator into statistics mode. Then find the function of the probability, PRT if I'm not mistaken, PS2 or PRT. Anyway, again, if face-to-face tayo, I'll teach you how to maximize the usage of your calculator. Or if I still have time this semester, I'll make a presentation regarding the calculator techniques or the Caltech. Okay? So, for the third one, let's have here our third example. Find the area under the standard normal distribution curve to the left of z equals negative 1.85. Okay, so this is somehow becoming tricky. Anyway, let's have here the zero value. Again, let's recall the number line. Here, we have the positive side, since 0 is the middle. And of course, here we have the negative. Meaning to say, the area to the left of the negative 1.85 is on the left side 2 of the normal distribution curve. Now, we have 0 here. We have 1, negative 1. We have negative 2. We have negative 3. So, assuming the negative 1.5 is around here, so negative 1.85, and it is to the left, so going left, of the curve, and by equation that is actually P of z, to the left of the z. P of z less than negative 1.85. Huwag kayong malilito dito. Ito, for me, madaling palatandaan itong mga symbol na to kung nasaan siya ng area ng curve. So, going to the left. Kumbaga ako, personally, tinitingnan ko to as arrow sign. Saan ba papunta yung shade ko dapat? Okay? So, this is actually the same with the 1.5 kanina. It just so happen, sa number 1, nasa kanan siya. It is positive. Now, since we have here a 0.4678, which is actually dito siya galing, 4678. Ito kasi, ang pinapakita ng table na to, is yung kanan lang na part ng distribution. Ito lang. Kanang part lang. Ito, sa drawing makikita nito yung tao. Malalaman nyo kung anong ginawa ko. Pag nag-engineering drawing kayo ang subject. Ayan. Anyway, dito lang, sa kanang part lang yung pinapakita niya. Hindi niya pinapakita yung kaliwa. Meaning to say, times 2 mo lang yan. Or, kung hindi mo naman kailangan ni times 2, kung kailangan mo lang makuha yung katumbas niya sa kabila, di lagay ka ng negative sign. Gawin lang kadali. Meaning to say, 0.4678 will be negative. Kung gusto natin ilagay siya sa kabila. Same lang sila kung gagawin nating area, kung gagawin nating percentage. Therefore, this is itong negative 1.85, that is actually equivalent to 0.4678. Now, bakit ko dito siya nilagay? Kasi ang hinahanap natin is hindi naman yung area na to. Di ba? Balikan natin. Itong 4678, yung area galing sa 0. So, for the number 3, hindi naman tayo galing sa 0. Ang sabi niya, from negative 1.85, papunta ka pa sa kaliwa. Meaning to say, ito yung area na hinahanap natin. I hope you get it. Ayan. And since ito yung hinahanap natin, yung kalahati na to, yung kalahati ng graph na yan, going to the left, is actually 0.5. Diba? Sabi natin 0.5 ito, approximately, not exact. and 0.5. Then ito, kaya ang total nila is 1 or 100 approximately. Now, since itong area na itong may x is 0.4678, so we should now subtract 0.5 and 0.4678 to be able to find the total area of this shaded region. So, ganun yung logic behind. And by simply subtracting these two numbers, we can have 0.0322. Or in percentage, this is, move to decimal, this is 3.22%. Therefore, we can easily say that this area is equivalent to 3.22%. Ayan, that's it. No, I hope nakuha ninyo. So, let's have our fourth example. Okay, for the fourth example, find the area under the standard normal distribution curve between, so take note sa term, not to the right, not to the left, but it says that the condition now is between. So, assuming we have here 0, 1, 2, and 3. We have here 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so Z 0.75. This is 1. Oh, sorry for the typo error. So, 1. Ayan. So, Z 0.75. Assuming nandito siya. Ayan. This is 0.75. And 1.85. Around dito. No? So, we have 1.85 here. Ayan, 1.85. Ang hinahanap is yung between. No? Meaning, ito yung area na to. Ang hinahanap. Ayan, let's try to shade this area, no? Ayan, ito yung hinahanap. Ayan. Ayan, okay. And kung titignan nyo, yung binigay lang ng ating table is from the 0. No? So, wala tayong problema dyan. Napakadali. Ang gagawin natin dyan, kunin muna natin yung area, no, from 0. Ayan. From 0 to 0.75. And kunin naman natin yung area from 0 going to 1.85. Then yung total nito, tsaka yung total yung sukat nito pati yung total nito, i-minus natin, and that will be now our answer for this area. O, diba? Ganun lang kadali. No, kumbaga sa engineering drawing, tinatapal nyo lang sila. Then kung ano yung subtract, no, if you are familiar with the commands ng AutoCAD, yung subtract, kung ano yung matira, yun yung area na yun. So, let's have the 0.75. Ano ang katumbas na value? Let's look on our table. So, 0.75 is 0.7 here. Ayun. Is 0.2, 7, 3, and 4. Okay. So, where should we write it? No, I forgot the equation. Anyway, so let's have first the equation. So, P of etong nasa kaliwa, ayun yung ilalagay natin sa kaliwa para hindi kayong maguluhan. 0.75, then less than Z. Z yung magsiserve as area. So, less than 1.85. So, again, tulad nung nabanggit ko kanina, no, this is equivalent to the value of the P of 0 less than Z less than 0.75. And yung difference niya sa P of 0 less than Z less than 0.75. So, again, yung 0.75 ng value niya is 0.2734. So, let's have it here. 0.2734 minus, or baliktad, no, absolute value nyo na lang. Yung value nitong 1.85. Baliktad yung pagkakaano ko, Ayan, dahil yung mas malaki dapat, ayan, hindi siya maging negative. If maging negative siya, wala namang problem doon. Kunin nyo lang yung absolute value niya dahil ang hinahanap natin is yung area. When we say area percentage, no, or kung ano naman yung unit na gamit mo, in our case kasi, since this is a distribution, we are talking here about percentage, and there's no such thing as negative percentage. No, so again, there's no such thing as negative percentage, kaya ang kukunin nyo is absolute value. So, the value of 1.85, ito rin yun, no, kanina sa example 3. So, 4675, let's have here 0.46, 78. So, 0.4678 minus 0.2734, this is equivalent to 0.1944, or in percentage, 19.44%. Meaning to say, this area is 19.44%. So, I hope nakuha ninyo. Itong line na to kanina, para malinaw, itong line na to, ito yung katumbas ng 0.4678. And itong line na to, ito naman yung katumbas ng 0.2734. Sinubtract natin, kaya nakuha natin yung difference nila, which is ito, nakatumbas siya ng 1944%. I hope nakuha ninyo. Ganoon lang naman si standard normal distribution curve. Okay, so last example for this topic. Determine the area under the standard normal distribution curve between z equals negative 0.75 and z equals negative 1.85. Alright, so let's check this one. So let's have here the value of our mean, median, and mode as 0. We have here 1, 2, and 3. We have negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. So, ito, no, nakalimutan ko lagyan kanina. This should be negative sa left. Okay. Ayan. Okay, so, negative 0.75 around here. Let's put it here. So, this is negative 0.75 and negative 1.85. So, it seems like the given is somehow familiar. So, 0.75 and 1.85. Hindi ba ito rin yun? Diba? Oh, minirror mo lang, nasa kabila. Ang hinahanap din naman is between. Ang hinahanap dun sa kanina, between. Eh di pareho lang, wala tayong gagawin. I-shade natin yan kasi yung nasolve natin doon kanina sa kanan is parehong-pareho sa hinahanap natin ngayon. Meaning to say, ang sagot dito is pareho dito, which is 19.44%. Ayan na yun. Wala nang iba pa. Now, kung gusto nyong ilagay siya into equation, no, this is actually the P of negative 1.85. Yung mas maliit na number, yun yung nasa kaliwa, no? Mas naging maliit siya dahil negative. Pero if positive, mas malaki to. So, mas maliit na number nasa kaliwa, then less than z, less than negative 0.75. Ayan, ito yung value niya, no? 19.44%. I hope nakuha. So, let's proceed with the next slide. So, now, saan ba siya ina-apply? No? Anong reason? What is the reason why we discussed that first before these slides, no? Before these slides came up. Applications of the normal distribution curve. So, we have here the formula x minus mu over sigma, which has already been introduced before, no, on the first part of the presentation. So let's try to use this formula in our real-world problem. So here we have the Pag-ibig salary loan for RFS Pharmacy Incorporated employees. So their average salary loan is 23,000. So meaning to say, since 23,000 is the average, ito na yung value ng ating mu. No? So, average ng utang nila, 23,000. And if the debt is normally distributed, assuming their debts, when plotted in a graph, normal distribution yung lumabas, no? Yun yung assumption, with a standard deviation of 2,500. So, standard deviation, 2,500. Again, standard deviation, this is a measure of volatility. So, So, in our case, ang pinag-uusapan natin is yung credit, yung utang nila. So, plus minus 2,500 ka on their specific data, on their specific utang. Now, yun yung katumbas nito. Halimbawa, I have a debt sa Pag-ibig salary loan which is equivalent to 20,000. So, more likely, I can have the debt, yung range ng debt ko, no, plus minus 2,500. Or, it is actually from 17,500 up to 22,500 if my min is 20,000. I hope you get it. Now, we should now find the probability that the employee owes less than 18,500. So, considering we have 23,000 min and 2,500 standard deviation, what is the percentage that a specific employee from that company, from that RFS Pharmacy Incorporated, is or owes less than 18,500? What is the percentage of that? Alright, so I hope nakuha ninyo yung problem. Meaning to say, actually, pwede natin siyang i-graph eh. Nasabi dyan, yung min 23,000. Not because 0 yung ginagamit natin for standard normal distribution curve, 0 na lagi yan. No, again, when we say standard normal distribution curve, that will only be the time na magiging 0 yung gitna. Pero kapag tinanggal natin yung term na standard, pwede na siyang magkaroon ng ibang value. Normal distribution curve na siya. In our case, yung magiging gitna natin is again yung mean, median, and mode. Kasi one of the properties ng normal distribution is nasa center yung mean, median, and the mode. Now, since wala tayong median sa problem, wala rin tayong mode sa problem, we will be using the mean as our center, which is equivalent to 23,000 pesos. No? So, let's plot the chart of their utang, mga utang ng empleyado ng RFS. So, we have here 23,000. And, ang sabi, no, standard deviation is 2,500. Na, wala naman siya wala natin siya pwedeng mailagay sa chart. Ang lalagay natin ngayon, yung probability na meron silang utang specific na employee nila na 18,500 pababa. Yun yung sabi, less. The employee owes less than 18,500. So, assuming this is the area where 18,500 is, so let's have here 18,500. Pababa daw, no? Pababa, meaning to say, ito yung kukunin natin na area. Ilang percent daw ito? Ilang percent yung chance na nandito yung utang nila? Considering, given na yung standard deviation and the mean. No? So, I hope nakuha ninyo. So, for us to be able to solve that, let's have the equation or the formula where z is equals to x minus mu over sigma. Now, let's equate this. Yung value ng x natin is 18,500. Ngayon, di ko na ilagay dito. No? Ayun yun, yung tinutukoy nila kung ano yung point of interest. That is the 18,500. So, let's write here, 18,500 pesos minus the mu, yung mu nila na 23,000, their average, all over their standard deviation na 2,500. Now, since peso naman lahat yan, wala tayong problema. No need for conversion ng ating units. No, direct na natin. This is actually negative 4,500. And this is 2,500. So, simple division, this will give us negative 1.80. Now, ano naman itong negative 1.80? This is now what we call the z value. No? Or ito nga yun, dun siya naka-equate, no? Horizontal kasi yung solution natin. So, z value, tinatawag din siya, ulitin ko, no? Na z stat, tinatawag din siya na z score, pare-pareho lang po yan. No? So, negative 1.80, kunin natin ngayon yung katumbas niya sa standard normal distribution. Nakuha ninyo, parang yung normal curve, kinonvert natin into standard normal distribution curve para makuha yung z value and therefore, makukuha na rin natin yung percentage. Ganun lang siya. So, negative 1.8 or simple 1.8 check natin ang ating table. So, 1.8, ito, no need for this one. No? So, sa first column tayo, 0. Here, no? This is the data what we're looking for. So, 0.4641. Okay. So, let's write here from this graph, let's have the equation. So, P of X, which is, ayun yung hinahanap natin, less than 18,500. Probability nun. Kung titingnan nyo, that is probability of Z less than negative 1.8, which is this one. Equals, that is, ang value nito, no, dapat ima-minus natin yan sa 0.5. Or kung maging negative man to, again, absolute value lang. Or kung ayun yung absolute value, pagpalitin nyo na lang sila ng pwesto. Pareho lang yon. Sige, pagpalitin natin. Bakit po ima-minus sa 0.5? Kasi yung nakita natin, nakatumbas nitong 1.8 na value kanina, no? Na, lagay ito sa gilid. Dito muna. 1.8 equals 0.4641. Yung ano ko, binaks ko. Balikan natin ito, 4641. Yung value po na yan, kung titingnan natin, ito yan. No, kasi again, yung binigay nung table is galing sa 0 or galing sa center, which is sa atin, that is the 23,000. Eh, hindi naman ito yung hinahanap natin. Ang hinahanap natin yung area na yan. Again, yung kalahati niyan is considered as 0.5, generally speaking. No, yung kalahati niyan is 0.5. Yun yung kalahati niya. Ibig sabihin, yung value man nito na nakuha natin, which is 0.4641, i-minus natin sa 0.5 para ito na yung lalabas. No, that's the reason why. So, minus 0.4641, this will be equals to 0.0359, or that is 3.59%. No? So, meaning to say, yung area under this region is equivalent to 3.59%. Therefore, no, madaling sabihin na ayokong i-judge yung mga empleyado ng company na to, pero maliit yung probability na yung isang empleyado nila is may utang ng mas mababa pa sa 18,500. Ibig sabihin, 3.59% lang, napakaliit lang. Ibig sabihin, malaki yung chance na yung mga employee nila mas mataas sa 18,500 yung utang sa pag-ibig, no? Pag-ibig salary loan. So, pwedeng mas mataas pa nga yan, baka nandito pa sila. No, anyway, no, hindi naman siya left skewed distribution, hindi naman siya negative skewed distribution. So, more likely, around 23,000. No, so, that's it. I hope you get it. So, let's have our second, I think this is the second. Okay, na second example. So for the second example, we have here the qualifying exams or the master's degree. So it says here that to qualify, for us to be able to qualify for UP, University of the Philippines Diliman master's degree program, candidates must score in the top 20%. So regardless of the score, it must be relative sa mga ibang kasabayan mong nag-exam. Dapat kasama ka doon sa top 20 performing students sa entrance exam. So, top 20% on the mental ability test. Sa mental pa lang yun, wala pa sa logical and other test, logical reasoning, English grammar, kung ano pa, wala pa. Sa mental, dapat 20%. The test has a mean of 180. So, let's write the mean here. So, 180 daw. Yung score yan eh. Average score is 180. And a standard deviation of 25. Okay, standard deviation of 25. Find the lowest possible score to qualify. Assume the test scores are normally distributed. That's why we have here the normal distribution curve. Now, as you can see, top 20 ang pinag-uusapan. Hindi yan, yung iba ang tinitignan nila yung top 20, yun nandito sa taas. Tapos dito yung top 80 na, hindi pa ganun ang pagtingin, no, sa curve. Again, this is the negative side, this is the positive side, generally speaking. For the top 20, nandito yan sa area na yan, yung buntot niya sa kanan, no, doon. So, meaning to say, halimbawa, no, ito yung, let's write this as X na lang, no. Kunyari, ito yung top 20% mo, top 20 performing students sa mental ability test. Ayan, ito yung 20%. Pa-horizontal ang tingin, hindi pa tayo. Or, in decimal, this is 0.2. Now, determine the area under the normal distribution between 180 and X. No? So, hanapin muna natin yung katumbas na to. Which is, kung titignan mo, 0.2 na dito, yung kalahati ng curve 0.5. So, basically, itong natitira dyan is 0.3. Diba? Ganun lang kadali. Now, ang tanong sa atin, ano daw yung pinakamababa na dapat nating maging score para ma-qualify tayo for their master's degree? No, ano yung pinakamababa? Assuming na we have 180 na average and standard deviation of the test scores is 25. Okay, so find the z value that corresponds to an area ng 0.3. Hanapin daw natin yung area na may 0.3 na z value sa ating table. So, check natin, no? Nasaan ang 0.3 natin? Kung walang 0.3, yung pinakamalapit sa 0.3. So, let's check. Here, 0.4, 0.39, medyo malayo. 0.32, 0. Ito, malapit to, 0.2969, baka may mas malapit. Yung pinakamalapit ang hahanapin nyo. So, yung konting-konti na lang 3 na. 0.32, malapit, 32, 2939, yung malayo, 2969, ito, 2995, 0.0005 na lang, no? 0.3 na siya. Walang eksakto 0.3. Ito na lang tayo. Ito versus dito, medyo malayo kasi ito eh. 0.0023 ito, yung lagpas. Ito ang kulang, 0.0005 lang. So, ito yung mas malapit. Ito yung kunin natin, 0.2995. Or, this is yung katumbas niyang z value, no? Ano yung katumbas niyang z value? 0.8, tapos 0.04. So, 0.8 plus 0.04, basically 0.84. Now, ito ngayon yung magiging z value natin sa ating computation. No? So, 0.84. Saan na yun? So, let's have here, dito tayo sa next na slide. We have no x minus mu over sigma, same formula. Yung z natin, ba't ko siya sinulatan ng equal? Delete ko lang ha. Yung z natin, pababa tayo para hindi kayo malito. Kasi may value ang z. Yung z natin, ayun yung tinignan natin sa table na 0.84. No? Ang hinahanap kasi natin ngayon, pabaliktad naman. Ang hinahanap natin ngayon, yung value na ito. No, kung ano man yung value niyan. Ano yung pinakamababang score daw para ma-qualify? No, sa top 20. Or rather, hindi pala ito. Itong X na yan. No, ano yung pinakababa? Dahil yung mga makakwalify lang is yung nasa area lang na to. No, nasa area lang na yan. Dito lang. Kapag nandito ka na, wala na. Hindi ka napasok sa degree nila, master's degree program nila. No, so, ang tanong, ano yung value na to? Yung X. So, meaning to say, X will remain as X, no? X pa rin siya. Minus mu. Mu is 180, yung average na score nila. So, we have here 180. Standard deviation nila is 25. Okay. So, walang kahirap-hirap, no? Simpleng cross multiplication. I hope you are all familiar with this. Naturo naman to ng high school math, basic math. So, 0.84 times natin sa 25 equals x minus 180. Okay? So, ito, this is actually 21. Then, lipat na natin itong 180 plus 180 is equals to x. So, x equals 180 plus 21, that is 201. Meaning to say, 201 yung lowest score to qualify, no, sa kanilang master's degree program. So, meaning to say, ayan, na makikita nyo tama kayo, kapag yung x na yan, equivalent siya sa atin, no, sa nakuha natin 201, equivalent siya sa 201 and at the same time, mas mataas siya sa 180. No? Kasi more likely, yung area na to, mas mababa na sa 180. Gitna 180 dito, sa side na to, mas mataas. So, dapat mas mataas. No? In our case, 201, tama naman. No? So, ayan. I hope na appreciate nyo. Let's now move on to the topic regarding the central limit theorem. Okay, so this central limit theorem is used to gain information about a sample mean when the variables or when the variable is normally distributed or when the sample size is 30 or more. The sampling distribution of the sample mean is a distribution using the means computed from all possible random samples of a specific size taken from a population. Now, we also have the term, pinapakita ko lang sa inyo yung mga term na mamaya i-explain ko in detail. We also have the term of the sampling error, which is the difference between the sample statistic and its corresponding population parameter due to the fact that the sample is not a perfect illustration of the population. Wherein tama nga naman. No, kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng sampling error. Now, for the central limit theorem, almost the same, nagkaiba sila dito. No? So, kung titignan ninyo, ang formula is x bar, ng z, no? Z is equals to x bar, wherein x bar is the sample mean, not the population mean, magkaiba yon, minus mu, ito yung population mean. Itong mu all over sigma, which is a sample standard deviation, hindi siya population standard deviation. Magkaiba ulit yun. All divided by the square root of n or yung sample size natin. Yung sample population, sample size, same lang yan. Now, let's have here an example. So, the average cost per household of owning a brand new car is 5,000. So, ayan, 5,000. That we suppose that we randomly selected 40 households. Okay, so 40 households, kinuha, nag-select. Determine the probability that the sample mean for these 40 households is more than 5,350. Assume the variable is normally distributed and the standard deviation is 1,230. Okay? So, let's have our graph here. Sabi niya dito, no, yung average cost daw ng kada bahay, no, para magkaroon ng car is 5,000. Not sure kung anong tinutukoy yung average cost, pero napaka-liit nito. Siguro ano na lang to, no, more on maintenance na lang siguro ito, ganun kung ano man, parts. Kaya maliit lang. Or baka ito yung monthly na down. Hindi niya na tinukoy. Basta sinabi niya na cost. So, let's have here 5,000. At lumalabas na naman yung docker ko. Basta 5,000 yan, ha? Ang hirap magsulat pag nasa baba na yun. Nag-ground na siya. So, 5,000. And, tapos 40 daw yung household. So, lagay natin dito n is equals to 40 na sinelect nila. Ang sabi dito, determine the probability that the sample mean for this 40 household is 5,350. Ayun. So, 5,000 yung based sa previous research. Tapos ngayon parang gagawa tayo ng panibagong experiment, panibagong research. Kapag ba humanap tayo ng 14 na bahay, ilan yung probability na kapag in-average natin yung sagot nila na average cost nila of owning their car, their brand new car, is mas mataas sa 5,350. Meaning to say, guys, kung titingnan ninyo, nandito kunyari, no, yung 5,350 natin. And ang condition, mas mataas sa 5,350. Therefore, yung hahanapin natin na area is this one. No, yung part na yan. No, I hope nakuha nyo. Now, the area between 0 and 1.8, wala pa tayo doon. No? Check natin kung ano yung katumbas netong line na yan. No? Paano po gagamitin natin ngayon yung binigay na formula, which is this one. No? So let's write this formula sa ating PowerPoint. Let's have it here. So 7 na naman. Z is equals to x bar minus mu over standard deviation divided by the square root of n. Now, for the x bar, we have here 5,350. Bakit 5,350 hindi 5,000? Ito kasing 5,000, before pa yan eh. Parang nauna na siyang research. No, stated na eh, nauna ng paper 5,000. Ngayon, kasi 40 lang yung pinanggalingan ng 5,350. Ibig sabihin, yung 40 na yan is just a sample. And kung dito nang galing sa 40 na to, yung 5,350, ibig sabihin ito is sample mean. And sample mean is x bar. No, I hope nakuha nyo. So, 5,350 minus mu, which is, yung mu natin is, ito na yung 5,000. No, pareho silang mean eh. So, 5,000 all over standard deviation na 1 to 30. Lahat naman yan naka-peso. So, kahit di natin isulat, pare-pareho naman. No need na for conversion ng mga units. So, divided by square root of n, which is 40. No? So, you can have this in your calculator. Pwede nyo nang idiretso to. The answer will be 1.80. No? So, meaning to say, yung katumbas ng 5,350, if ang magiging katumbas ng 5,000 is 0, ang katumbas ng 5,350 is 1.8. Saan po yan? Sa, again, standard normal distribution curve. Now, the area between 0 and 1.80 ang kailangan nating hanapin. Itong area na to, tulad sa ginagawa natin kanina, hanapin natin yung area na yan. Tapos, kung ano man yung katumbas, 0.5 minus yung area na yan, ayun yung magiging sagot natin dito. No? So, ganoon lang siya. So, 1.80, 0 hanggang 1.80. Let's go back to our table. Nasa ano table na layo na, no? So, we have yung 1.80. Ayun, 46, 41. So, 0.5. Layo na natin, no? Anyway, matapos na tayo, malapit na. So, 0.5 minus 0.46, 41. This is equivalent to 0.0359. Therefore, in percentage, 3.59%. Ito po yung katumbas neto. Ayun. Ibig sabihin, now, since nakuha natin is 3.59%, we can easily conclude, guys, that the probability of obtaining a sample larger than 5,350 as their average cost of owning a brand new car per household is only 3.59%. No? Ganun lang kaliit yung probability na yung 40 na bahay na inikot nila, tapos nagtanong sila, dapat daw 5.50 or ilang percent na probability na 5.50 pataas, 3.59%. So, mali lang. So, more likely nga, no, dito lang naglalaro yung data natin sa 5,000. Diyan na naglalaro yung gastos nila monthly sa nila ng farm. Ayun. So, I hope you realize the purpose of our topic. No? So, next, and I think this is the last example for this presentation. So, sabi dito, the average age of a car registered in the LTO or the Land Transportation Office is 10 years. So, we have 10 na agad na average. Ang sabi dito, or 120 months. Ay, kinonvert niya. No? So, 120 months. This is actually sample or population. No, this is guys, population, mean na yan. No, average age. Wala na siyang binanggit kung saan nang galing eh. So, malamang ito, generally accepted mean na ito by study or by historical data na ng LTO. So, basically, let's have the given, no, yung mu natin is, check natin ano ba yung iba. Yung iba naka-months, ayan, naka-months. So, months na lang ang gamitin natin. If gagamit kayo ng isang unit, no, dapat pare-pareho na yung unit na gamit nyo along dissolution. Yung iba kasi naka-years, tapos during dissolution, they're opting into months, then naguluhan na, labo-labo na, iba-iba na yung unit, hindi ganun. No? Sa umpisa pa lang, check mo na yung unit na ginagawa ninyo para alam ninyo yung unit din kapag natapos din kayo. No, walang problema. Sa una kayo mag-convert. In our case naman, naka-convert na siya na yung nag-convert yung problem na. So, we have 10 years here or 120 months na lang ilagay natin as our population mean. Then, assume the standard deviation is 20 months. So, let's have standard deviation na 20 months. Ayan, meron parang graph dito. If a random sample of 35, n is 35, cars is selected. So, may pinili na naman. Almost same sa kaninang konsepto, no? Yung bahay-bahay. 35 cars are selected. Find the probability that the mean of their ages is between, ito ang nagkaiba ng konti, no? Between 115 and 129. Ayun. So, let's have here the mean natin na unang binigay, which is 120. Ang tanong, no, between 115 and 129, nasaan yung 115? Assuming nandito ang 115, tapos nandito ang 129. Ayan, estimation. Between daw, ibig sabihin, ano daw yung area na to? Ito yung hahanapin natin ngayon. Ito yung goal natin na mahanap. Ilang percent yan? Ayan, yun yung tinatanong niya. So, para ma-convert natin, madali lang naman. We need to convert the values, yung mga months na yan, no? We need to convert yung value na to sa ating standard normal distribution curve. That's why, gagamitin ulit natin yung formulang ginamit natin kanina. Pero kung titingnan nyo, dalawa ang z-value na kukunin natin. Yung z-value na katumbas nito at yung z-value na katumbas nito. No, between kasi eh. Between 115 and 129. So, para hindi tayo malito, ito na lang yung z sub 1, tapos ito na lang yung z sub 2. No, sana nakuha ninyo. So, let's have the computation here. For z sub 1, dito tayo. For z sub 2, dito na lang. No, so, formula, no, x bar. Siyempre, since may sub 1 yan, may 1 na rin itong x bar natin. Minus yung mu natin all over yung sigma divided by square root of n. Same with this 1 sa baba, pero sub 2 yan, no? Minus mu over sigma divided by square root of n. Okay. Now, we can now substitute the values natin. Yung x bar ng 1 dito is ito ang gagamitin natin. Ito yung magiging x bar 1, x bar 2. No, kasi magkaiba sila. Ang gagawin natin, kukuhanin natin yung katumbas ng z at ito yung katumbas ng z. No, so, this will be 115. Tapos dito, 129. Then, yung mu, dito naman, pareho na sila. Na binanggit dito, 120. No, so, they have both 120 here na mu. Then, divide. Standard deviation, pareho sila. And yung n, pareho sila. So, no problem with that. Standard deviation is 20 months. Yung n is 35. So, let's have here 20 divided by the square root of 35. 20 divided by the square root of 35. So, by directly inputting this sa calculator, this can result to negative 1.48. And this z sub 2 is equivalent to 2.66. No? So, ito yung katumbas niya. If yung 120 is 0, ito is 2.66. And yung ating isa, katumbas niya is actually 1.48 negative. Ayan. So, kukunin natin yung pagitan or yung distance nila from the 0 gamit na ulit yung ating standard normal distribution table. No, then i-add natin sila para mahanap natin yung total percentage nila. So by solution or by equation, mathematical equation, that is probability of 115 less than x bar na lang, then less than 129. So this is equivalent to P of, we have here negative 48, 1.48 rather, less than Z, less than yung kabila na 2.66. So 2.66. So let's have here, and para ma-solve ito, we need to find first the value of negative 1.48 to 0. So we have here P negative 1.48 less than Z less than 0. Then plus natin yung difference of 2.66 from the 0, which is P of 0 less than Z less than 2.66. So by simply looking on the standard normal distribution table, we have here, let's look on the table. Yan. Negative 1.48, or the absolute value, which is 1.48, 1.4 here, and 0.08. Let's check the 0.08 part. So this one, 0.4306, 0.4306. So let's write first 0. Ang layo na natin, no? Ayan, 0.4306 plus the value of 2.66. So let's check again the table of the standard normal distribution. Oops, 2.6. So let's have 2.6 and 0.6. This one. So this is the data that we are looking for. 0.4961. So let's go back to our solution. Okay, so plus 0.4961. So no problem, we don't need to get the difference of this number from 0.5 kasi nga ang pinanggalingan naman nila is parehong 0, and ang kinukuha naman natin is yung difference nila. Yung area nila, no, between 115 to 129, wherein yung 120 or equivalent din sa 0 is nasa gitna nila. So, no need to minus sa 0.5. I-add na lang natin, no? So, let's add these two numbers. This will be equals to 0.9267 or 92.67%, meaning to say 92.67% ito. Therefore, no, madaling salita, yung problem natin, the probability of obtaining a sample mean between 115 hanggang 129 months, no, is 92.67%. So, ayun yung mean ng age nila, no, yung probability na yung age ng mga cars is 115 to 129 months is 92.67%. So, medyo mataas, no? And I think that's it for now. So, I hope you appreciate our topic. I hope nakita ninyo yung essence ng normal standard distribution or ng normal distribution simply sa ating real world problems. So, maraming salamat sa inyong time, no? Thank you also for your participation, and I hope magamit nyo ito in your future careers. No? So, see you again on our next discussion. Keep safe always. Bye-bye.